Hey guys, welcome back to Breed 2 here today with a new video. Today another Marvel Rivals guide, this time for Magik. Today we're going to be going over her synergies, all her abilities, and the best way you can play Magik to the most success. All of this stuff is from the closed alpha test, but it should carry over to the closed beta and to launch as well. Anything major that gets changed will be in a pinned comment down below. Let's start off right here by saying Magik is one of the better of the melee characters. In my opinion, she's the best of the melee characters, so that's like Black Panther, Spider-Man, Magik, and I guess Hulk as well. But between those three, she's really the only viable one currently, whereas Panther and Spider-Man both kind of feel like dead picks on the team. But Magik, you can get away with some pretty cool stuff, especially because of her passive, which we're going to be getting into. But first, let's start off with her synergies. Magik currently only has one synergy, and that's with Black Panther. If you have both of them on your team, she is able to use her C key to do a move called Disc Master that opens a portal that Black Panther can use. So you can kind of teleport Black Panther a short distance away. Now, there is really no reason you should ever have a Magik and a Black Panther on your team, unless you're trying to lose, so it's kind of useless. And in general, the fact that only Black Panther can use it, even if both characters were really good, it's just kind of like a wasted synergy in my opinion. It doesn't do much for anybody to just have one move that only Black Panther can use, and it doesn't even really do much for him. But I guess you can use this to sort of teleport him behind enemy lines, or to pop up behind the enemy team and get some picks that way. But in general, you're never really going to be using this ability. But if we want to move on to the rest of her kit and look at Magik's abilities, starting off simple with the left click, you have the Soul Sword slash forward with the Soul Sword. This is her normal attack that you're going to be doing the majority of the time. It's, like I said, a melee character, so you're slashing people with your sword, and you can also mix in your right click, Magik Slash, that you can charge this down for as long as you want really, and it'll do a little bit more damage the longer you do, and it will do a ranged slash forward that sort of shoots out like a projectile that does do decent damage, especially to smaller characters. You also have your shift called Stepping Discs, where you jump through a stepping disc, teleporting a short distance in the direction of movement. Now you get two of these that regenerate over time, so you can use one and then it'll start to regenerate and use the next one, and you can kind of chain them together that way. This is your primary way of getting around with Magik and dealing damage and staying away from taking damage as well, is that you always want to be using your shift anytime it's up, anytime you're in combat especially, to dodge around, because it combos into her other moves, which is what we're going to be going on to now, with the Eldritch Whirl on left click and the Demon's Rage on right click. So both of these are available after you use your left shift, the stepping disc. So after you go through your left shift portal for, I think it's like 2 seconds or so after you come out, you can hit left or right click to do one of these two abilities. Now the Eldritch Whirl will spin as you come out, and it damages everyone around you. This is your strongest ability to combo with the stepping disc, because you can hit a huge group of enemies this way, especially if you teleport into a group with your shift, click left click on the way out. You'll spin and damage, you know, the healers, the tanks, everybody all around you will get hit by that, which is pretty strong, especially when you can do it immediately again if you have another stepping disc on cooldown. Now the other option is the Demon's Rage on right click. So after you come out of the disc, you can take a little bit of time to aim this if you want, because like I said, it lasts for like 2 or 3 seconds after you exit the left shift. You can right click to shoot out a Limbo Demon that will attack like a single enemy, or just like a sort of an area. It just shoots out and just attacks in front of itself, and this does do a fair amount of damage to whoever it ends up hitting. But you're going to be using Eldritch Whirl most of the time, the left click, but you do have the option to mix in the right click as well. And since you do have 2 charges on stepping discs, you can do one and then the other if you'd like to, because you also still have your E for movement. On E, Magik has Umbral Incursion, which is a forward dash that will launch an enemy upward. So you can dash into someone and it'll hit them, launch them up in the air, and you can combo that into your like left click to continue damaging them. It disorients, you know, the enemy player because they're getting launched into the sky. You're right in their face, meleeing them. It's hard to sort of like work around that when you get hit by the E from Magik. But you can also use this to get in and out of danger pretty easily, to like either dive a team or to run away if you're about to die, because it's quite the distance that you dash on your E, and then you still have your 2 left shift charges as well, which you're invulnerable for the short second that you use your left shift and go through the sort of stepping disc portal, which gives Magik a decent amount of survivability, meaning that you can always have 1 or 2 dashes on shift and a dash on E to get over to a health pack or back behind your team or just away from whatever trouble you're in. On top of this, she has one of the best passives in the game called Limbo's Might that converts any damage she inflicts into bonus health for herself. So it sort of stacks armor over your max health, so like extra health for any time you're doing damage. This is anything you do that does damage. You can use just the normal sword attacks or the ranged shot or anything that we've mentioned so far. If you're doing damage, it's going to charge up over your health bar and sort of like refill your health as well, which is very useful for staying alive, especially as a melee character where you're going to be right either behind the enemies or in with the enemies, like right in their face. So you're definitely going to notice the help of Limbo's Might, as it also does increase her survivability quite a lot. Now her final ability is her ultimate Dark Child on Q, which transforms Magik into Dark Child, and it basically just enhances all of her abilities, but it also does make the passive better, so you're a lot harder to kill because all the damage you're doing is converting into even more armor, and all of your attacks are doing way more damage. So all the same moves, but even like larger AoEs, like larger range on everything, and much higher damage. Anytime you hear Magik use her ultimate, you can pretty much assume if you're a healer or a squishy character that you're going to be dead pretty shortly, because it is a very strong ultimate ability. It is, you know, something to keep in mind though, not to try and panic use it. I believe in the video in the background I do panic ult and I'm rinsed pretty fast. It's best used, and all of Magik's abilities are best used with sort of the element of surprise in the flank. As any of these melee characters, Magik included, you're going to want to be just in the back lines, especially like if it's payload, diving back behind the enemy team and picking a healer and then getting out of there as fast as you can. That already will make a massive difference for your team, and you've done your job at that point. If you can dive in and, you know, take out a Rocket Raccoon in like 3 or 4 swipes from the sword and then dash back away, that's going to give your team the edge to win a team fight. And that's mainly what you want to be doing with Magik, is just disrupting the enemy team. It is hard if they don't have someone who like hard counters her, like Punisher's shotgun or, you know, big AoE damage sort of moves. If they don't have someone focusing on you when you're playing Magik, it does become a big problem for the enemy team when you're right in their face or back in the back taking out their healers. If they don't have good comms and no one notices that you're killing 1 or 2 of the healers in the back line, they're never going to be able to take sight or take the objective or anything like that. So Magik in a good player's hands against a good team comp can really make a difference, and I definitely recommend, if you're going to play a melee character, that you should play Magik out of the options we have so far. And that is pretty much it. That's all of her abilities, all of her synergies, and everything you really need to know about Magik. Hopefully this guide was helpful for you guys. If it was, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more from me. New Marvel Rivals content all the time. I'm going to be putting up a guide for all these characters, just so we have it kind of on the backlog for when the game does come out. People are looking for information about different characters. But I'm also going to be doing all kinds of content into the closed beta and further into release as well. And I also do different videos every other day on many different games, so if you're interested in gaming as a whole, check out the channel. Subscribe if you would like, I'd appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Comment down below what you think of Magik. Let me know what you thought of the guide, if you've had a chance to play her or you're excited to try her out. She's one of my favorites as far as the melee characters goes, for sure.